Welcome to KUDZUKIAN.
R&R on sports, artivism, best in blue, funky politics, blues in the basement, neighborhood connect, riffin' on jazz. On the KUDZUKIAN Network. Best in Blue. Connecting you, the listener, to the everyday inner workings of the Memphis Police Department.
From KUDZUKIAN Studios in Memphis, Tennessee, it's Best in Blue. In Blue. In Blue.
Hi, this is DC, and you're listening to another edition of Best in Blue, where we take a deep dive into the outstanding work of our own Memphis Police Department. Today's show, folks, let me tell you, we're going to be talking about recruiting. How to make yourselves worthy of being an excellent recruit for a possible position with the Memphis Police Department. And none other to bring in to talk to us about that is Officer Kevin Moore, who happens to be the lead recruiter for the Memphis Police Department. Brother Moore, how are you, sir?
Incredibly wonderful. How about you?
Man, I'm great. I'm great. Oh God, it's cool in the city right now. I like that, man.
Oh, I love it.
It's cool in more than one way. But anyway, glad to know that. Talking about recruiting, one thing that we really want our listeners to know is how do you, or what does the city look for? What does the Memphis Police Department look for in a possible applicant to become or to wear the blue, to be the best in what we call blue here in the city of Memphis?
Well, DC, I tell you, we are looking for the best of the best to join us, to become the best in blue. We're looking for individuals who are willing to go the extra mile to protect and serve the citizens of our city, to build our infrastructure for community outreach. We're looking for those individuals who are just simply wanting to see Memphis in a better light. And most importantly, we're looking for an individual who want to change the stigma or the perception of law enforcement in order to deem us as worthy as the title of law enforcement officer is.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, that's a big, oh man, that's a big thing right there. So are we getting those recruits? Are we seeing a large number of young people or just people in general joining the ranks here from not only Memphis, but also from outside our city?
Absolutely. In fact, we are targeting several different areas in order to attract the demographics of our city, because our department, we love to see our department mimic the demographics of the city of Memphis. Wow. So that's how we determine which areas that we're actually going to target in order to reel in those highly qualified applicants that we're seeking. And as a result, once we saturate those areas, we reel those individuals in, and we take them through the entire application process, the employment process that is, in order for them to become the best in blue.
You are listening to Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. Well, Officer Moore, you got young people, you got those who are seasoned, you got military. So we are looking for people not only from the college ranks, I take it, but also from the military ranks and just people in general who have a knack or want to serve the public in their communities, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, yeah. We're looking for those individuals who want to reach beyond their potential. Yeah. We're looking for individuals who have the strength to serve and want to protect. But as far as hiring qualified applicants to join the Memphis Police Department, we're looking for individuals who have a concentration in criminal justice, whereas they are seeking a career in law enforcement. Our department has the best training within this region, and I'm not saying that simply because I work for the department. I'm saying that from experience. It'd be good to know that, though. Right. I mean, because we train other agencies within our region in order for them to serve as law enforcement officers in their community. So a lot of agencies look up to our department because we do offer the best training that's available within the region.
And speaking of training, we have a training class going on right now, no doubt?
In fact, our 123rd basic recruit session, in fact, they have just completed 20 weeks of the 21 required weeks of training, whereas they will be graduating on this Friday, which will be August the 10th. Well, correction, their last day is Friday, August the 11th, but their graduation will take place on Thursday, August 10th.
Wow. And you said how many is in this class?
We started out with 110 highly qualified applicants, and at this point we're at 87. We're anticipating that 87 of that 110 will be graduating on. That's
a pretty good number, though, isn't it?
It is.
In terms of percentages, in terms of graduates, even on the college level, you don't have those types of numbers. So
you're absolutely right.
That sounds pretty good.
You're absolutely right. And in fact, I assumed early on in the process that we would graduate about 85. So this has exceeded my expectation. Oh, yes, absolutely. And that expectation was really high because typically in the past, we tend to graduate maybe about 35%. We lose about 35% of those individuals.
Wow. You are listening to Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I was looking at some studies that showed that, I guess one that showed back December 16th, where you had cities and people want to talk about Dallas, Texas. Okay. Dallas had to cancel 2 of their recruiting classes because they didn't have enough recruits. But you're telling me that we at least started with over 100, and we're graduating close to that number.
Absolutely.
So we must be doing something right here in the city of Memphis.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. You're on point. We are doing something a little bit different here, and I really do appreciate the city administration for backing the Best in Blue initiative. Yeah. When we launched the Best in Blue campaign, it was designed to target. Now, it was a very strategic move in order for us to do this, and I appreciate the administration for following the lead on this. Now, this is how we determine this. If we're going to build a department that is going to mimic the population of our city, then therefore we must attract those individuals that meet those demographic requirements. Yeah. We do that through media advertising. We do that through particularly social media, through a website, through search engines, through Google search, Google ads. We also, when we launched the Best in Blue campaign, we did it with television and radio ads. We did it with billboards. We did it with the local shelter. The transit shelters. So all of those dynamics were put into place in order to captivate individuals of professional careers, individuals, again, career law enforcement, individuals who are military, and we were able to attract those individuals. And I will say this, because we are looking for the best of the best, the elite, we're not lowering our standards. Yeah. Our standards are still the same. I know some departments
we talked about offline,
correct. But we have maintained our standards and requirements for those individuals to join our department. So if we're going to do that, we had to target a different group of individuals in order to attract them in here. And we had to amend some of our qualifying factors, such as the 1.5-mile run.
Oh, wow.
Formerly, it was 15 minutes. Now it's 16 minutes and 30 seconds to qualify. And the reason why we did that, because our hiring process is only 2 to 6 months now. The waiting a year to get into law enforcement for the Memphis Police Department is out of the window. Yeah. So in order for us to do that, we target professionals who are in corporate America. Those individuals have degrees. Yeah. Typically, they have the college requirements. So if we're going to target those individuals, and a lot of times they don't have time to run every day, because we all know in corporate structure, you're busy, you're working, you don't have time to work out as much as you would like to. So we give them that little extra leeway, so when they join us, when they come to the academy, we're going to prepare them, and they'll be where they need to be prior to graduating.
And I would assume, and I've never been chased by the police department here in Memphis, but if I can run 1.5 miles, you guys don't need to catch me. And I'm interested in knowing this, and I think our listeners would love to know, where do they go in case they're wanting to be a part of the Best in Blue right here in the city of Memphis? Is there a website that they can look at?
Absolutely. In fact, we have simplified the application process. We no longer distribute applications from the precinct or from the training academy. Everything is simply online to initiate the application process. All they simply have to do is go to joinmpd.com. They just simply go to joinmpd.com, and then they can click on several pages. In fact, they can click on the Apply Today tab, whereas these individuals will be able to apply directly from the website by simply clicking on the Apply Today icon on the main screen.
Wow. You are listening to the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
R&R on sports, artivism, Best in Blue, funky politics, blues in the basement, neighborhood connect, riffing on jazz. On the KUDZUKIAN Network.
I'll play the blues for you.
Blues in the Basement with Stephanie and T. Shaw.
Some great festivals going on around the tri-state area.
Got your dancing shoes?
Man, as long as I'm with you, baby, I'm always be on my toes.
Drop that zero.
Bring your blues, boo.
I got them.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
Blues in the Basement.
Thrill is gone.
Blues in the Basement, part of the KUDZUKIAN Network.
The thrill is gone away.
Rolling down the street with my radio on, listen to funky politics.
The mayor of the city of Memphis, Mayor Jim Strickland. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. We keep it real, we keep it right, and we keep it funky.
Funky Politics, part of the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Hi, I'm Officer Cassandra Leak with the Memphis Police Department, and you are listening to the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Hey, DC back here with you again. Let me tell you something. We've got Officer Kevin Moore, who happens to be the lead recruiter for the Memphis Police Department, and we were talking about the recruiting process here with our Memphis Police Department. But now, Officer Moore, I'm here now. I've shown up my first day. I've got my duffel bag. I don't know where I move into.
During the 21 weeks of training, we pay them a $40,000 salary. They can choose anywhere they like to live within the county limits. Now, there are some departments, maybe across the nation that offers that, but we decide not to, simply because of the salary that we offer them.
Sure.
We pay them to train. And be mindful. Some agencies require you to obtain your own certification, pay for it out of your pocket, and then come back and be considered for hire.
Now, I want to get halfway through my training, which is about 10 or 12 weeks.
Okay.
Now, what do I look like?
You should know the procedures, the requirements, the expectations that has to be met during the 21 weeks of training. And you should be on the road to, about 10 weeks out, you should be on the road to firearms training at that point.
Is that right? Okay.
Or law. It all depends on our structure. Either it varies, depends on the class. Around 10 weeks, we'll either do law, 4 weeks of law, or we'll do the 4 weeks of firearms training.
And 4 weeks of law, you're talking about the ordinances that affect the city of Memphis and so forth, and the state?
And the state.
State law? Okay.
Yes, and the state
Cool.
state law.
Okay.
Around 16, 17 weeks, at that point, you're over the hump. You're ready. In fact, you're almost in landslide mode.
Wow.
Around 17, 18 weeks. At that point, you're preparing for practicums, which is our field training, where we teach the recruits training scenarios based on incidents that actually occurred that our officers have encountered. So we need to know that they can handle those occurrences if they are faced with them. Sure. And how they would dispose of it. And if they do it incorrectly, then that allows us to critique them. So when they're actually on the streets, then they'll know exactly what to do. It will lessen their margin of error. Yeah.
You are listening to the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. So we're at that juncture now. Now I've graduated.
Once you've graduated as a commissioned certified officer by the state of Tennessee, you will undergo a 12-month probationary period. The first phase will be the field training officer phase, FTO phase, whereas you will be assigned to a primary FTO, and you will ride with that FTO for 4 weeks. They will give you more of an introduction to the department, get you acclimated with enforcing the law. They want to kind of gauge what you know, what you've learned in the training academy. They kind of shadow you to see what you've learned and how you are applying what you've learned to real life scenarios. Then for the second 4-week period, you're with your second FTO, and then for a third 4-week period, you're with a third FTO.
Oh, so I'm not with one officer who's mentoring me through that whole period. I've got at least 2 or 3 maybe.
Correct.
Who will be okay.
You will have 3. You will have 3 FTO.
Wow.
And then after you've completed your third 4-week session, the final and fourth 4-week session, you will revert back to your primary FTO, who will in turn gauge what you have learned, not only from the academy, but from the other FTO. And then during the final phase, particularly the last 10 days, they pretty much allow you to show the FTO what you're capable of doing. You know, you have the opportunity, you have the floor to shine at that point.
Wow. And that's me through the academy.
Right, and that's phase one. Now, phase two of the probationary period.
The second 6-month period.
That's correct. Well, actually, after the 4 months, then there's another 2-month period where this individual will engage in a team with a partner.
Okay.
During the next 2 months. So you're going to ride with your partner and do things that officers normally do.
That's right.
As a partner. And then after you have graduated from the 4-week phase, the 2-month phase with the partner, then you're in the car another 2 months rather, by yourself as a solo officer. Then at that point you'll be able to answer calls solo, but you'll have to be able to determine, and apply the laws to whatever incident or crime that has occurred. And of course, you always have your friends, co-workers who you can always rely on, just in case if you're not 100% sure what law or what ordinance that should apply to the particular crime that has occurred. And then after that, at that point, you're waiting for your 12 months probationary period to expire. And at that point, you'll become a P2 police officer.
Wow. You are listening to The Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Time is truly wasted. There's no guarantee. Smile is in the making. We gotta fight the powers that be.
Rolling down the street with my radio on, listen to funky politics.
The mayor of the city of Memphis, Mayor Jim Strickland. How are you, sir?
Fantastic.
We keep it real, we keep it right, and we keep it funky.
Funky Politics, part of the KUDZUKIAN Network.
R&R on sports. Artivism. Best in Blue. Funky Politics. Blues in the Basement. Neighborhood Connect. Riffin' on Jazz. On the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Tyrone Curry with the Memphis Police Department, right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Everybody get up!
Hey, DC back with you again. Sitting here with the Best in Blue. I got one guy who's in the Best in Blue. Who he's in blue. Best in Blue. That's Kevin Moore, our lead recruiter for the Memphis Police Department. Kevin, man, I tell you, talking about recruiting really makes one feel good, because I honestly believe that we've got a lot of talent in the city of Memphis, and these young people, they see you guys out there. They see what you're doing. A lot of people respect you. No matter what's going on out there, people do respect our folks in blue. And we were talking a little bit offline about a couple of programs right now that are working with the Memphis Police Department, Blue Path being one, and also, we've got our public service technicians. Tell our folks about the public service technicians, the PSTs, as we've always seen them in those white cars with those spiffy little brown uniforms on, or I guess light color brown uniform.
Right. Well, the PST is an excellent gateway program for career law enforcement for those individuals who aspire to become the best in blue, to become a Memphis police officer. The PST program allows those individuals to simply earn the qualifying requirements to become a police officer. A lot of cases, a lot of people say, hey, I want to become a police officer, but I don't meet the requirements. Yeah. Well, the PST program allows those individuals who are interested in returning to school and earning their associate's degree at a region accredited school. And Southwest is the school of choice with the city of Memphis.
Great.
And this allows those individuals to return to school to earn their associate's degree, all while earning a salary as a PST police service technician by responding to calls, by responding to traffic crashes, and as well as traffic enforcement. They will learn radio procedures, They will learn or have an introduction, a brief introduction to law. They will also perform duties such as writing citations for traffic violations, very minor traffic violations, and all while earning a $27,000 salary as a police service technician.
Well, now, let me ask you about the PST. So do they have an academy of sorts that they go through as well, or a training phase, a 9-week, 10-week, or what's the requirement on that?
Absolutely. In fact, they will undergo 6 weeks of training during our regular 21-week training session for our police recruits. So they will complete the first 6 weeks of block of instructions, and then they will graduate as a with a certificate as a PST, and then they will perform those duties of a police service technician. And then once they earn their associate's degree, we will transition them into a police recruit, whereas they will return to the academy and complete the additional 15 weeks to graduate as a police recruit.
Okay. You're listening to the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. So you've got another program called Blue Path.
Absolutely.
Blue Path is something that a lot of us have heard about, and we were talking again about this and how young people from the high schools who are interested in law enforcement, you want to talk to those folks.
Absolutely. And we are looking for those individuals who have an early desire to partake in a career in law enforcement. Well, the Blue Path will keep them on the right path.
All right.
Whereas we, the recruiting team, will be we will be going out to various high schools during the fall, and targeting those schools for the students that we need to who want to partake in the Blue Path program. Well, these individuals must be in either the 10th, 11th, or the 12th grade. And during that 2 or 3 year period that they're in the Blue Path program, they will be involved in some community initiatives. They'll be involved in some things that will keep them on track. So when they graduate from high school, they will have a job immediately graduating from high school making $27,000. And there's a collaborative effort in the Blue Path that a regular PST employee does not receive. Number one, there is the state of Tennessee involved with the Tennessee Promise Scholarship. These individuals will have to complete the requirements and meet the requirements of the Tennessee Promise Scholarship, and then they will actually have to enroll in the program to be willing to take part in the activities and the training, whereas the Memphis Police Department will train these individuals once they graduate from high school to become a PST. And then the third component to this is Southwest Community College, where they will be earning their associate's degree. So it's a collaboration of these 3 entities in the Blue Path program, and the candidates do not have to come out of pocket with anything. Everything is covered. Their initial uniforms, their duffel bags requirements, their physical abilities, clothing, everything is available.
And these are high school kids who are being introduced to law enforcement
Absolutely.
Early on, introduced. And I graduate high school, I graduate from Hamilton, or I graduate from Melrose or Germantown. Now, I've got this Tennessee Promise dollars. I go to Southwest, I graduate there, I'm in the academy?
That's it. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. So, in fact, the class we just had a class that just graduated on this past Friday, which is our very first ever Blue Path PST class to ever graduated, and they immediately transitioned out of high school after graduating. That following week, they started the PST program.
Wow.
And they went through the 6-week training, and they graduate on Friday, and they've just began performing their duties. They have the initial introduction of their duties. And then on the 28th will be their first day in class at Southwest.
And these are primarily 18-year-old young people, basically,
yes.
right?
You're absolutely right. And
Wow,
in fact, we had
amazing.
we had 3 of them that I remember. We had 3 of them who haven't
They're 17.
reached, right, who haven't reached 18.
My daughter she turns 18 in a week, so I know what you're talking. And she's getting ready to go to Tennessee State to going to school. So I'm like, oh my God.
Exactly, right.
Wow. Tell us a little bit. Now, let me ask you this. Blue Path, where do I go to get my child involved with this program while they're in high school? Where is there a website? Is there somewhere I can go and see this information?
Very good. There's actually 2 ways to enroll. One, when one of the recruiters, including myself, when we arrive at your high school, at that point, you can enroll in the program, and we will, from my understanding, we will do it there with computers, or they can do it at their leisure by simply going to our website at bluepathmemphis.com. That's bluepathmemphis.com. And there they'll find all of the requirements and information, and it allows them to log in and sign up for the Blue Path program. And then they will be contacted by our city administration.
Wow. You are listening to Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. Man, we've had a great conversation with Kevin Moore, who happens to be the lead recruiter for the Memphis Police Department. All right, Kevin, we've talked about our young folks who are going through the Blue Path program straight out of high school, but what about those individuals who say, I want to serve my community? I think I can make a difference in the city of Memphis, and they want to be the best in blue. Where can they go?
All they simply have to do is log onto the website at joinmpd.com. That's all they have to do.
All right.
Best in Blue, recorded live at KUDZUKIAN Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. Executive producer Larry Robinson. Best in Blue, part of the KUDZUKIAN Network.